Audrey is quite a prominent woman, which as they say in the juice. She has a great figure for her 37 years, a thin waist, and breasts of size 4. Perhaps that is why I still have a strong attraction to her, and I am wildly jealous of her. Even though I have been married for 15 years, we lived amicably and quietly. But that is only until the bosses did not transfer my wife on a ship schedule. Since then, it's like she's been replaced. First of all, she changed her hairstyle and hair color. I reacted calmly, especially since white suited her. After a couple of months, Audrey began to visit the fitness center and swimming pool in her spare time, which had a very positive effect on her figure. I was glad she was having a good time, but something about it all made me uncomfortable. One day, while cleaning, I discovered some bright, red lacy lingering that had some pretty revealing cutouts on it. That's exactly from that moment I began to get nervous because for me such things she never wore. That same evening, I asked my wife who this set was for. My wife lowered her eyes down, quietly saying that she was preparing a surprise for me. I didn't know whether to believe her or not, but that very evening I demanded to wear it. I was a little surprised, but she didn't even refuse like before, but on the contrary, as if she was waiting for such an evil instruction. We spent the whole night tumbling. Good thing the sun was in the village, but far from positive. Emotions brought me this process. I think that many men will condemn me now because my wife has since then fulfilled all my whims in the bedroom, actively herself went to contact, and looked unparalleled. Every day she became more and more beautiful, buying more and more erotic lingering, various creams, and making bright, beautiful makeup. I was sure that the reason for such changes was an unknown admirer she had made, but every time I asked her about the reasons for the change of image and such a strong desire for intimacy with me, she said that she was trying, only for my sake. But something didn't add up in the whole story. I sneaked to look at her correspondence on her phone, social media, email, but everything was clean. I pulled her phone records, and her messages also clean. Then I turned to my colleague, who was well versed in computers and various programs. I of course did not tell him that I felt like a cuckold and wanted to check on my wife. The colleague downloaded an application to my flash drive, explained how to use it, and gave me tips on how to fool the antivirus program, which could block the whole procedure. I spent the whole day at work running through different scenarios and outcomes in my head. As luck would have it, my boss gave me a load of work, so I came home very late. I didn't get on her computer looking forward to the next day, even though we had another crazy night with my wife. My suspicions were heightened the second day. She wore a low-cut sweatshirt to work. Audrey had never allowed herself to do that before, even when we first started dating. I asked her why she was dressing like that, and I heard the strange answer that it made her feel more confident. My nerves got the best of me, and I demanded that she change her sweater immediately. This made her freak out, and she pulled me back into the bedroom. What was happening to her was not clear to me, because before my wife was completely different. In the evening after work, I immediately rushed home. With excitement, I loaded the flash drive and took out a piece of paper where all the instructions were written down. After doing all the steps, I pressed enter and waited. I don't know if it was unfortunately or fortunately nothing new loaded. I spent the whole night thinking, and only in the morning I realized that she probably had a second phone. After looking all over the apartment, I could not find any clues that would somehow explain to me the reasons for such a change in my wife. The only thing I found in her drawer was a lot of literature on the subject of intimacy. I gave up and became depressed. A close friend of mine noticed my distress and asked me what was wrong. I shared my worries with him and asked him what he would do in such a situation. He didn't take me seriously at first, only saying that he would be happy if he were me. When he saw that I didn't laugh, he apologized and asked why I didn't just come home early like all spouses who smell something wrong do. My mood instantly improved because it was a great opportunity to immediately realize what was really going on. I asked my boss to excuse me, citing a bad feeling. He let me go without question, and I quickly rushed home. When I opened the door, I heard melodious music coming from the bedroom. When I opened the door, I saw something that not all adult movies show. My painted wife was lying on the bed with nothing on. To melodic rhythms, she was wriggling on the webcam, holding a male pleasure object in her hand. I was very surprised because I had not found such an object on him during the search. Not wanting to see more of this ugliness, I clapped my hands and shouted, "Bravo!" My wife jumped up in surprise. She hurriedly turned off the camera and cried in shame. I gave her an interrogation from which I learned that all this has been going on for 3 months. For such frank video chats, some even transfer money to her. However, my wife assured me that she does not do it for money. Such pastime helps her to loosen up and gain self-confidence. Everything that the men on the other side of the camera want to do to her, she brings into her life and expresses herself in this way. I felt so sick to my stomach that I wanted to go outside and freshen up. My spouse did not let me do that, and taking me by the hands began to say that she loved me exclusively and never even thought of cheating on me physically. I tried to twist around to get out sooner, but she wouldn't let me. I asked her why she needed all sorts of strange men to look at her for self-expression, since she could dance for her legitimate spouse. My wife wiped her tears, which were black because of the mascara, and looked at me, picking up air in her chest. She said that it didn't give her the extreme feeling she gets from video chats like this. I cringed at what she said, telling her that I needed to think about it. I went out onto the balcony. Lighting a cigarette, I tried to analyze the situation to figure out how to move on. Physically, she kept me faithful and amused herself, so for the sake of loosening up. But on the other hand, embarrassed me. My spouse promised to stop all of this just to keep me from filing for divorce. After living apart for a few weeks, I realized I really missed my wife. So I came back. Now we watch adult movies and do experiments together in the bedroom. What would you do if you were me? Dear friends, thank you very much for watching. Leave comments, put likes, share with friends, and subscribe to the channel.